Yeah, no, I really enjoyed Bhakti's presentation to us today, in part because, working in human resources, we all value equity and inclusion, but so often discussions of equity and inclusion focus on why it's important, and that's kind of an established value. We know it's important, we know it has real, everyday, practical effects on the people that we serve. But what was different about this talk was that it gave really concrete, actionable steps that were logical and easy to follow, but with enough diversity of examples that you can apply it to whatever the culture is in your organization. If you have an organization that's a really flat organizational structure where you're working across teams a lot, if you're talking to executives in your everyday conversations, or if you're trying to lead a team of people in their practices and in their business processes, the tools that Bhakti spoke to are useful in everyday problem solving and also promote that practice of inclusion. Like I said, it was really refreshing because instead of focusing on this kind of castle in the sky or pie in the sky approach that would be optimal, but without any practical tools, it was very focused on practical tools with kind of that foundation of the value of it and that shared value that we all have. So actually, right after this talk, I asked Bhakti about other workshops that she mentioned giving because I want to learn more. I know that in my own life, I am often coming into a situation with these are the 37 things I want everyone to know. And I know that I could definitely benefit from more of the facilitator mindset because the people I'm working with, the people I'm leading, often have better solutions than I could come up with alone. And if I'm coming in and telling them the solutions, I only get what I bring. So having some of the tools that she was speaking to, I could see how that would be very powerful, and I can also see where that is not my default setting. So trying to flex that muscle would be really helpful for me in my own leadership practice, as well as engaging in the conversations that I need to engage in the wider organization. Something interesting that Bhakti did in her presentation that kind of demonstrates some of the tools that she was trying to share with us is often speakers will start from their own personal story, their own personal why, their own motivation that brought them to the table or brought them to thinking through the system that they're sharing with the team or with the group. And she instead flipped the script in some of the same ways that she's encouraging all of us to do in breaking down the structures. Rather than starting from her own experience of feeling excluded, she started from other people's experience, kind of putting us all in the role of some potentially fictional person. And by finishing with her why, it came back to, again, it made the reason for equity and inclusion the foundation rather than some lofty goal that we're all aspiring to, which I thought was really interesting, and I've not heard anyone use that approach before.